Oh, that light is so bright on me. Ah! Hello, my friends. Hi, welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining. Hello. Good evening. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Anna J. Thank you for the hearts. And as you come on, for those of you who are not regulars, if you would do me a favor and give me your first name, I'd like to address you by your first name. And for those of you who do not know, hi Alexia. For those of you who do not know, my name is Abena. Hello, Dion. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Hey, Fran. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to see you here. So good to see all of you here, and thank you so much for the hearts. I'm getting a little swig of, this is actually warm water that I'm drinking. Hi, Debbie from Oklahoma. Hi, Anisha from New York. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Carl. 10603, if you can give me your first name so I can actually address you by your first name. And thank you for tuning in. So what I'm going to do as people come on, I'm going to go ahead and do my introduction so that we can get started. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Abena Palmore. I'm a licensed stylist, professional stylist working with natural hair and those transitioning from natural to, from relaxed to natural, hopefully not transitioning from natural to relaxed. I work in a salon here in the Bronx, New York. It's called the Gifted Hair Clinic. It's located at 3511-1 Boston Road. It's at the corner of East Chester, which is near a landmark area of the Bronx called Co-op City. And for those who do not know, that's the northern part of the Bronx that's near Westchester. Hey Yolanda, how are you? And thank you for tuning in. I'm just doing my introduction. I'm in the salon on Tuesdays through Saturday by appointment only. So I do not accept walk-ins. And if you're in the area, like if you're in the New York City area, Connecticut, New Jersey, Philadelphia, whatever, stop in and see me at the salon and I will work with you with your hair directly. And for those of you who are not able to come into the salon and see me, you can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Embrace Natural Beauty, where it is my goal to share with you simple tips and techniques that have been helpful to me in my own natural hair journey that have helped me over the past 4 years to maintain my hair and to keep it in good condition and to retain length, which was always my goal. And so, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Thank you. So, which has always been my goal, and I want all of my viewers and all of my followers to be able to maintain their hair, maintain your hair, keep it in good condition, and retain length if that's your goal, so that you enjoy your hair and embrace natural beauty of your own. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. And so that's my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Facebook at Embrace Natural Beauty and on Instagram at embrace_natural_beauty and on Twitter and Periscope at embrace N for natural beauty. So that's Embrace and Beauty. So those are all of the social media platforms that you can find me on. And now that we're here together this evening on Periscope, I thank you all for tuning in. And for those who know, the topic that we're talking about is evaluating the tips that you're getting, the tips and advice that you're getting, mostly online, maybe from blogs, from YouTube, from Instagram, wherever. They're all over. And they're designed, I guess, to help people, especially those of us who are newly natural, to be able to manage this, mane of hair. And so what sparked this topic and what sparks most of my topics is what you all are going through, things that you ask me questions about, things that you're dealing with. And so I had an experience, this weekend where a client came in, and this is really, 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 really interesting. I said to her, your hair is, it's fairly straight. Hey Judith, how are you? Thank you for tuning in, girl. I said to her, your hair is straight. I don't see actually a curl right now. So let's see, when I wet your hair, if it's actually going to produce a curl. And she was surprised when, I said to her that her hair was straight. She said, what do you mean that my hair is straight? My hair is curly. And I'm looking at her hair. And so after some time went by, hey Michelle, after some time went by, after I'd washed her hair and was preparing to style it, I showed her how her hair was performing, with the gel, and it just laid down. And she looked at it, I said, you see what I'm talking about? This is, where it's straight. So I was just showing it to her. And she got really upset. And she said, it wasn't like that 2 days ago. And I said, well, what happened 2 days ago? She said, I used baking soda in my hair. I was following this method that I saw online. There were so many people posting that they had all these wonderful results. And I wanted to give it a try to help out my hair. And I had a curl back there 2 days ago. And now my hair is straight. So that's what sparked, this conversation, because I'm telling you, most of my followers, a good portion of you, and those who, come into the salon oftentimes are very, very intellectual researchers, very well-rounded. And so some of these things are not common sense. Some of these things are really foreign to those of us who are new to natural. And so she didn't understand how detrimental using baking soda could be on her hair, because so many people reportedly use it and do not have the same level of adverse effects. So I want to talk about how you all are evaluating some of the tips that you're following online and some of the experiences that you've had, and then how I would evaluate them and put them in a category of whether or not, and I listed them, so just bear with me, I'm going to look over at my list. What's absolutely necessary, baking soda. Hey Patricia, baking soda breaks certain hair bonds, correct? We'll get to that, hang on just a second. So what I'm going to be covering is what's absolutely necessary, what is optional, what is a caution, and what is absolutely avoidable. I'm over here peeking at my laptop and then it wants to go to sleep. I wish I could stop it from doing that. So, now Patricia had asked a question about baking soda and that it actually breaks some bonds. So let's talk about really quickly with baking soda. Baking soda is a high alkaline product or ingredient. It's sodium. It has like a salt base. When I went natural, I almost fell into that trap, but found YouTube videos that talked about high. Okay, I know there's more coming. So with baking soda, it is a higher pH than your hair, but so is water. Water is a pH of 7. Your hair is about 4.5 to 5.5. And so when you put something that's alkaline on something that's acidic, like our hair is acidic, then what happens is it causes the hair to expand. And that way you can actually, in some cases, get moisture in. Alkalinity and gritty, so glad I didn't do it. It was high alkalinity and gritty, so glad I didn't do it, is what Judith is saying. And so with baking soda, there have been a lot of people who use it, as conditioner, use it as a shampoo, or use it as a cleanser because of the grittiness to get rid of salt or what have you. It's something I've never subscribed to. And for those who have had success with it, it's been temporary. Hey, Amber Janelle, how are you? Did I say your last name correctly? It's Danielle with a J. So Janielle. Okay. So Amber Danielle, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So with the baking soda, yeah, there are a number of people who have reportedly used it and used it for years and hadn't really experienced, any negative effects, or at least not that, they knew of. Laughing out loud, haha, I got it, because I know how to read instructions. And so, but yeah, with baking soda, the concern was some people would say it's going to relax your hair, and then others would say, no, it's not going to relax your hair. Shoot, if baking soda was a relaxer, it would put relaxer companies out of business. So how can it be a relaxer? So in between those two statements, I would say it can definitely loosen your curl, which to some extent could be seen as a relaxer, and to another degree it could be like, well, it will release, some of the, the texture in your curl, but it won't necessarily make your hair straight. The truth of the matter is, I had a customer in my salon who 2 days before using baking soda had a curl, and then 2 days later had straight hair. Everyone's experience is going to differ. You may want to ask me, how much did she use? The ratio, according to her, was not extremely high. She followed whatever the instructions were, and she told me how much she used in a ratio of a cup of water, an 8-ounce cup of water, a tablespoon of baking soda with, I think, some conditioner and with water. And so whatever the ratio was, it wasn't extremely potent, but it was enough to raise that pH to most likely a 10, which is very, very high and very, very powerful, and will, really expand your cuticle and can make it very weak. And if your cuticle breaks, or if it gets very weak, then it's not going to be able to protect, your inner cortex layer, and so you will be susceptible to damage, including, your hair no longer having the curl pattern that you originally had, because you no longer have that protective layer. It's your cuticle layer that actually gives you your curl. Your inner layer gives you your strength, but your cuticle layer is what gives you your curl. Hello, give me your first name so I can address you. And so, did you have more questions about baking soda in particular? I see lots of hearts flying. Hang on. Hi, how did she recover? Jackie from Louisiana. Loving those finger coils. Oh, thank you. Amber, these are actually, I did a flexi rod set a week ago on Sunday last week. And so this is a full week of flexi rodding. I've never done this with my finger. It's Michelle in Manhattan tuning in. Hey, Michelle, I know you. Oh, I have a couple of Michelles. Sorry. Okay, hi, Michelle, and hi, the other Michelle. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How did she recover? So her hair right now is straight. This literally happened a couple of days ago. So your hair is not going to revert. Thank you, Amber. Your hair is not going to revert immediately, and it may never revert. We have to give it time. We have to continue to give it moisture. But if it's really, past the point, which in most cases it will not return. Good evening, Nita. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you, girl. See, some of my regulars are coming on to give me some support and hang out with me. I appreciate it. Yeah, you have to be really careful. What I like to do when I instruct you with regard to a regimen, I like to keep everything on the minimal side. You don't want to be too aggressive with your hair because there's really no point of return. It's just a fiber. Once you break something of that fiber, you can't repair it. All you can do is patch it up. And so even when our hair is in good condition, like, if it's not over manipulated and if you're taking good care of it, what is the point of them using baking soda? Let me see. And she will have to transition again. No, thank God it's not that bad. Her entire hair is not straight, but portions of her hair. Yeah, it is sad. Portions of her hair. She was actually crying. Portions of her hair are straight, or her curl has been so loosened, and she did have a lot of looser curl than what she had before. So she was absolutely very upset. So now this is what happens with me. You guys, when I'm talking and I get on a topic and I start answering a question and then something else comes and throws me off and then I forget where I was. So you have to remind me. One track mind. I'm linear. I have to keep going in that direction. The point. Yeah, what was the point? What was I getting at? What were they using the baking soda for? I think that was the question that I was answering. Well, let me try. So what they're using baking soda for, was to actually get more moisture into the hair. And so some people have been using it because it's so highly alkaline. It will expand your cuticle layer and you'll get like a rush of moisture coming in and you'll start to see, some curl definition. But it's temporary. Every time we do our hair, it's temporary. It's not going to stay. So then they'll do it over and over and over again and continually weaken that cuticle layer. Some people, it's not as extreme the first time they do it, so it takes several times before they see it. Hi, Kizzy. Thanks for tuning in, girl. And Kizzy, I have a question for you. I know you got your sample pack, so I'd like to hear. Hope I didn't miss much. No, we were talking about Oh, Patricia done opened up the can of worms. She said, oh, she was doing the maximum hydration method. You know. You know. That's another thing, all these different methods that are out there. I have seen so many videos about the maximum hydration method and wondered if there was any value. Yeah, and Kizzy said she did it. And I think we had talked about this. So Kizzy shared her experience a couple weeks back where she was experiencing getting moisture in, and then she noticed, you know, a difference in her hair. Was that you, Kizzy, or was that someone else? Did I mess that one up? I know there was someone we said that we need to stop with the baking soda. I did it too. Alicia, did you stop, or are you still doing it? I still use a modified version, is what Kizzy's saying. Okay, so what does your modified version include using the baking soda? And hey, Michelle, see now I have 3 Michelles on here. Welcome to all of you. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. And you did it too, and yep, it was me. So you're still using the baking soda. Okay, so we talked about this, and you notice there's a difference between your hair that's been no baking soda anymore is what Alexia's saying. Okay. Oh, thank you, Amber. And so with the modifiers, with use of a clarifier. Okay, so then let us know what you're not using. So with the baking soda, only use the baking soda every so often. Okay. Yeah, that is really aggressive. You know, the relaxer systems that they use, they raise the pH in order to get the chemical into your hair. The baking soda is not going to deliver any chemical into your hair, but it is going to expand your cuticle layer, making your cuticle layer weak. So my concern with the baking soda, using it repeatedly, is that eventually your cuticle layer becomes so weakened that you go from being extremely low porosity to an accelerated rate of now high porosity. So you may very well bypass normal porosity, which is what you really want, and go to the extremely on the other end and have high porosity, which retaining moisture is extremely hard. So what about aloe vera juice? How good is that for your hair? Aloe vera juice is actually very good. And if my hair was not just absorbing moisture, then I use it. Kizzy, put that up again. I couldn't see that last part. Aloe vera is good because it's actually very liquidy, and it's a lower pH. It's closer to our hair. It's like a 4.5. So it's not actually going to be disruptive to your pH because it's pretty much the same as your hair, or close to it. If your hair is a pH of 5.5, it's fairly close to it. It becomes dangerous when you get into levels like apple cider vinegar, which is more like I think it's more like a 3. And even though that number does not seem much different from a 4.5, when you times it by, I think it's like a millionth or something like that, it's extremely potent. So you would never want to put apple cider vinegar on your hair without diluting it. It's way too acidic. It will burn your hair. And thank you for the hearts. Abena, what about henna? And okay, Michelle, let me get to Kizzy. If my hair is not just absorbing moisture, then I'll use it once a month at the most. Okay, so Kizzy, have you tried the other steps, that I shared with you all in the video on moisturizing low porosity hair? Because what you're doing with baking soda is temporary. Everything that we do is temporary. And so if you are weakening your cuticle layer, that's your only defense with keeping your hair from getting, from breaking and from getting, too weak. Can you ever turn low porosity to normal porosity using baking soda? It's hit or miss. It's so dangerous. I mean, I just would not recommend it. You tried all of the steps. Okay, Kizzy. Clarifying conditioner works. I use Suave. Okay, that's I think that's kind of talking about something different, because when you're clarifying your hair, what you're doing is you're removing all of the product buildup, so you're actually allowing your hair to get the moisture in. Hair steaming has been the best for getting moisture in, and I shared that. Kizzy knows that I shared that in my video on moisturizing low porosity hair. Like I said, I like to use gentle measures because your hair is just a fiber. When you use something that's going to be really aggressive, it can take your hair to the far end of the extreme. It was making my hair very, very limp and weak when using it weekly. Yes, that's what we talked about. And I used the Cure Redo like you recommended, and it worked. And I couldn't get the rest of that. Yeah, the Cure Redo is going to give you, I saw that, Michelle. The Cure Redo is going to give you targeted moisture. That's what I like about it. Some people use baking soda to remove buildup. Yeah, that's, there are so many other ways that you can remove buildup. In fact, you can use apple cider vinegar, which again, you need to dilute it, but I feel safer with the apple cider vinegar diluted than with the baking soda. Although I've only used the apple cider vinegar on my hair once because I really don't experience much buildup because I wash my hair every week. And for those of you, or for those who are using only conditioner when you wash your hair, you're going to experience buildup for sure. So also having trouble getting moisture into low porosity. How often can I use the, the Cure Redo? Your question didn't include what can you use. Yeah, the Cure Redo? You can use the Cure Redo often. There's no limit to it. I do not recommend using it on a weekly basis, especially if your hair is in the threes. Are you talking about the baking soda, Kizzy? Your advice was what helped me wash with shampoo, warm water. Yeah, I'm missing you guys' comments. I like that. I want to see them all. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. Yeah, I don't like anything that's too extreme because some people can deal it longer than others. What is the best alternative to a shampoo in your opinion? Well, I have been using the Detoxifying Clay Cleanser by Wonder Curl, and so that's not a shampoo, it is a cleanser. The myths are coming from natural hair who do the curly girl method and refuse to use shampoo. That's one group. Okay, so Kizzy, you were talking to someone else, so I'll take that. Love that stuff. What do you love? Oh, you're talking about the Detoxifying Clay Cleanser, Amber, and thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, the Detoxifying Clay Cleanser, it's like a clay that you don't have to do any mixing. It's already prepared for you, and it has some nice oils in it. I was wondering if the heat from Cure Redo could do too much if done twice a week. Well, the thing about the Cure Redo, what I like about it, is that it's targeted. So you can put it where you need it, and it's moist heat, right? So the whole concern about, using a blow dryer is it's dry heat and it's removing the moisture. What should I use that's safe and natural to wash my hair? We were just talking about that clay cleanser. With the Cure Redo, what you're doing is you're just delivering, moist heat to your hair. And so, I wouldn't sit it there. The whole idea is you can pull it out and put it in, and you just gauge it. But yeah, you're just getting moisture to your hair, and the heat will help to actually open up your cuticle and get that in if you have really low porosity hair. You're welcome, my dear, anytime. And let me know what your first name is because I can't, redhead, I can't see what your first name is. Yes, the hair steamer, so it helps for some of us. Absolutely, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so the whole idea is any tips that you're following, granted, the baking soda, the whole idea is to get more moisture into your hair, and moisture is key, so I can see how that can be, very tempting for many people. Where do we get the Cure Redo from? Is it only online? Yes, it's only online. I think at this point, your tips and advice are great. Thank you. I like to keep us on the safe side. I like to keep us on the safe side. I like to proceed with caution. Anything new that comes out, I like to ask a lot of questions. Your regimen does not have to be extremely difficult just because your hair no longer has a chemical, changing the texture. It's still your hair. All the things that you did to your hair when it was relaxed, you can continue to do if they were healthy for the most part. We've added things like using a silk scarf because we noticed that you were getting more snags of your hair, you know, especially with it being in a curly state. It would snag your hair if you were on something like a cotton or something knit. But for the most part, how well you cared for your hair when it was relaxed, it's still hair. We don't need to go so crazy. We talk a little bit about silicones and hair color. I mostly couldn't see the rest of that. Love your hair. What did you do to style it that way? This is a flexi rod set that I did a week ago. So I'll be washing it tonight or tomorrow morning. Some tips on silicones and coloring. Well, I already told you guys that I am actually a fan of silicones. The only reason why people were avoiding silicones was because they didn't want to use shampoo that contained sulfates. And so the concern was that if you're using products that contain silicones and you're using sulfate-free shampoo, or you're just using a conditioner to wash your hair, then you're going to get buildup on your hair of the silicones, right? However, very many of the same people are still experiencing buildup on their hair because they're not using shampoo and they're constantly putting product on their hair, which is building up. If you're just washing your hair, and I don't mind saying this over and over again because I really want to make sure, you know, I reiterate this. If you're just washing your hair with a conditioner, you're not washing your hair. A conditioner is just designed to soften your hair, to smooth it, and to help it be, you know, able to help you to detangle, help you have slip, but it's not going to remove the dirt, the dust, the debris, the sweat, the salt that's on your scalp and on your hair. I keep getting frozen, gonna go back out again, no problem. Do you experience fairy knots or single strand knots? Girl, when I do my wash and go, I experience very little with the knots, the single strand knots, but this stuff, I do. I have a very difficult time retaining moisture and my hair tangles easily. I couldn't see the rest of that. Yeah, we talk about this often, and there are a number of factors that could be playing a part in that. And I'm having trouble even getting my low porosity hair wet, even squishing it. So, yeah, it's going to take some time though. You know, we have to spend more time on our low porosity hair. How often do you recommend washing? Some say to wash weekly, every 2 or once a month, what's best. And so I mostly use clay washes. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading. I'm gonna try and answer a question here because I want to make sure I answer a question and not just reading comments. It is okay to wash your hair, you know, more than once a week if you need to. You want to wash your hair based on your lifestyle and not someone else's. Bear with me because I want to try and answer. I peeked and I looked at your comment. I want to try and answer the question before I move on. When you're washing your hair, it really has to be based on your lifestyle. Now, if you're doing a lot of cardio, if you're running marathons or, you know, track or doing aerobics or something like that, yoga, things where you're going to get a lot of sweat in your scalp, you may not go a full week like someone like me because I don't do that. So you may want to wash, you know, every 3 days or something like that. And in between a shampoo, like if you wash your hair on a Sunday and then you wash your hair again on a Wednesday, you know, you can use shampoo, or at that point you can use something a little gentler. You can use a conditioner. But if you're getting a lot of sweat and dirt in your scalp and in your hair, you may want to just go ahead and use that shampoo. Maybe have 2 different ones that you use, one for, you know, more deeper cleaning and one for more gentler cleaning. But you definitely, depending on your lifestyle, would want to wash your hair more if you're doing something that's going to get your scalp and your hair dirtier sooner than someone who's not doing all that like me. You know, I've heard henna helps with moisture and loosens the hair pattern. Is that accurate? You know, I've heard that it loosens the hair too. I don't think that happens with everyone. But henna is essentially, it's like a protein conditioner. So a lot of people report that their hair feels softer and also that it feels like you have a protective layer over it. So the tough thing about henna is if you have low porosity hair and you already have trouble getting moisture into your hair, it's now going to serve as another barrier for getting moisture in. So I actually do not recommend henna for anyone who has low porosity hair. So you always want to weigh, your options based on your actual hair characteristics. I want to go back to sulfates. I love silicones. How often is it safe for my porous hair? And needed that answer. Great. I'm glad to hear that, Michelle. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. How often is it good for your high porosity hair? You have high porosity hair, Amber? Is that what you're saying? What info can you provide on beer rinses? You would actually have to inform me about beer rinses because I'm not even familiar with that. You have high porosity hair, and you don't have any color in here because I've seen your hair. Your hair looks like it's naturally black. Yeah. We were talking about how you're evaluating. You have no color in your hair. You're just naturally high porosity, Amber. We were talking about, evaluating all these different tips and advice that we get online. And, people come up with these DIY things often. It's like, oh, you're natural, so try this, try this. When you relax, were you rinsing your hair with beer? Were you rinsing your hair with tea? Were you getting the benefits of that when you were relaxed? Yes, I've been porous since my big chop. That is interesting. So prior to that, Amber, when you got your hair relaxed, did you have, do you know if it took a long time for your hair to process or if they processed it really quickly? Uh-oh, somebody's getting like a private consultation here. I'm asking a lot of questions, right? Thank you all for the hearts. It's like when we go natural, it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this? Let's do beer, let's do tea, let's do this, that, and the other. It did take a long time. Now that's weird, Amber. You have very thick strands. How do you deal with shrinkage throughout the day? I have nice length in the morning and then later not so much. While I don't deal with shrinkage throughout the day, it usually happens, once on wash day. So what I would do is I would put my hair up, in a really tight bun, and it would get a nice stretch like right in here. I would preserve the ends, and then the next morning, I'd have my little bit of stretch. It pretty much lasts me throughout the week. That would be about it. But that would happen just on wash day. And so, so if your hair took a long time to process, do you have low porosity hair? Yeah, usually when the hair, thank you for getting me back on point. You guys are good. Usually when it takes a long time for your hair to process, it is a number of factors. So Amber had coarse hair, which is one of the things that's going to cause it to take longer to process. But also low porosity hair takes a long time to process. When you have high porosity hair, it should process very quickly. And also if you have fine hair, it should process really quickly. Now, if you have coarse hair and you had high porosity hair, your hair should process, that should normalize it. You should actually get, processing should be pretty much on par with the processing time of the chemical relaxer, which I do not do, but that's, pretty much, the standard. Medium is normal, and then when you have extremes like low porosity or coarse hair, it's going to take longer, and then vice versa. If you have fine hair or high porosity, it should be quicker. It's less of a barrier for the processing. So I'm a little perplexed when it comes to your situation, how you could be high porosity now that you're completely natural. Have you ever heard of using mustard powder and cinnamon water? How many things do they come up with? No, I have not. And I would not. It amazes me when we were relaxed, we didn't have all these methods. Exactly. High porosity now because of color. Yeah, color usually leads to high porosity hair because you've now chemically changed your hair, and why it becomes high porosity in particular, the chemical processing, I don't know exactly what it is, but it does tend to lead to high porosity. Relaxers proceed quickly on me, but color took long. What porosity am I? Girl, don't you do that to me. It could very well be the degree or whatever the strength of the processors that they were using. Please, let's use simple techniques. I'm with her. That's what I do. I'm low manipulation, low maintenance. I use henna and indigo on my low porosity hair 3 to 4 times a year to cover gray. And that's Jackie, and she is gray. And if you're not having any problems with moisture, then the henna is fine for you. The only time I tell people to reconsider your options is if you're struggling with, getting moisture to your hair with something that you've chosen to do. What is the best oil to use to add shine to dull hair? To be honest with you, I am not an oil person. I use oil very sparingly, only to seal. And the only oil that I really, really like is argan oil. They come up with a lot. I heard of someone using monostat. I heard of that too. Monostat, because at the core of what it does, they were using it and they were getting, some benefits from it. But I would never do that. I've gone to an open house at Aveda and liked it. Your thoughts on their products for type 4 and 4B and 4C? I studied at Aveda, for those of you who do not know. And the reason why I chose to go to Aveda for my beauty school studies is because I knew we would be using products, and I wanted to be able to use, products that I felt comfortable with putting on my natural hair at the time. Because so many of us, when we go natural, our concern is we're no longer doing chemicals, so we want to be gentle with whatever products that we're putting on our hair. And so that's why I looked at Aveda, all organic or 97% organic. The rest had to be preserves. You can't make necessarily all organic preserves. And so I was fine. I use a lot of Aveda in my salon. A lot of Aveda shampoos and conditioners, which I did provide in a video that I have on my YouTube channel called Shampoos and Conditioners. So you can actually see which ones that I use. Now backing up. You asked me about shampoos and conditioners specifically. Oh, no problem, Amber. We're here. You're welcome. You're welcome. So you asked me specifically about shampoos and conditioners for your type of hair. So I'm going to touch on that and come back with me. What I want to remind you all is when you ask questions, if I'm talking about something, I want to stay on that point. So copy your question before you hit send so you can send it later and I can answer it, okay? Now, when it comes to using different products based on your texture, I actually am working toward confirming that if something is well formulated, you could work and use it across various textures. At the very core is hair, and it's a matter of how you apply it that's going to give you, the results that you're looking for. The same thing with techniques. If you have a looser curl, you may not need to do a flexi rod set to get this because your curl is already doing that. But if your curl is tighter, then when you use a flexi rod set, this is the look that you get. It's all a matter of the result you're trying to achieve and then the approach. But the actual formulation is what's going to give you, the benefits of what you're looking for. So specifically, if you have, like me, low porosity hair, the recommendation is that you want to use a moisturizer that's liquid, right? Like a milk. That's the common theme. Use a milk or a liquid leave-in as your moisturizer. I've done that. But if the moisturizer is not an effective moisturizer, it doesn't matter how liquidy it is. Sure, it gets delivered to my hair a little bit easier than a thicker conditioner or a thicker moisturizer. But if it's not formulated well enough to give me good moisture retention, then it's for naught. And so what I found is that if you have product that's well formulated, it's going to work no matter what the texture is. It's just a matter of how you apply it. So I want you all to consider that. I'm going to have a video series pretty soon when I'm showing you how I can use one product line on various textures and achieve the moisture retention and the curl definition that you need. And just the way that I'm applying it is what makes the difference. Not necessarily that I need to use a different product because it's a different texture. So I am going to address that more effectively in a video series. That's why I ordered Wonder Curl. You already know. Okay, back to those fairy knots between trims. Is this, Alexia, what is this? What's your strategy? You are going to be so happy with the Wonder Curl products. Yes, so with the fairy knots, I was only experiencing a lot of knots when I come out of these styles. My own natural curl, which is literally tighter than this, does not give me as many tangles when I come out of it when I'm doing my wash and condition. So, you know, for me, I have to be a little bit more gentler when I'm doing my detangling of you know, these flexi rod curls. So for you, if you have a tighter curl and you're experiencing a lot of these knots, what I would recommend, I hope so, trying to find my regular go-to products. Girl, you're going to be happy. Like she said, you're going to be happy. So you definitely want to make sure you have a lot of slip with your conditioner. Some people recommend using a cheap conditioner because you can waste a lot of it on your hair. I'm not into cheap conditioners. I'm not actually into cheap products. I have never used one to curl. What should I purchase first to get started on it? Well, at the very core of any style is your moisturizer. So the first thing you want to order is the Butter Than Love pudding. That is an awesome moisturizer, and you can layer that with any styler. So you would start with the pudding, the Butter Than Love pudding, and depending on the type of style you're going to achieve, my favorites are the Butter Than Love pudding, which is what I'm telling her, and what you're trying to achieve. If you're doing a wash and go, you may want to go more with the Get Set Hair Jelly, or if you want like a softer curl or bigger, more volume, you can go with the Curl Control Styling Lotion, and you can also use that if you're doing like twist outs. And so consider the type of style you're doing, but definitely start with the Butter Than Love pudding as your moisturizer. Thank you. I'm a wash and go girl. Yep, there you go. So either the jelly or the Curl Control Styling Lotion for your finish, for your styler. Do you trim yourself between your trims? I actually am going to take a swig of water first. Hold on. I trim strategically every 3 to 4 months. And I don't wait to see split ends. I don't go like this. Ooh, do I have split ends? No, I just trim literally every 3 to 4 months like clockwork, because I'm not waiting for my hair to get damaged. I already know your hair gets worn out. You know, you're wearing it like clothes every single day. It's going to get worn out. No, I don't do any dusting. I don't. I literally get a trim every 3 or 4 months. And it's, you know, probably like a 1/4 inch. The more often that you do it consistently or strategically, you can choose the amount that you're going to cut off. And that's what I do, about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Actually, I'm going to be getting my next trim in January. And I hope to record that and share that with you guys. I want to be a wash and go girl. Haven't been very successful yet. Have you been watching my videos, my dear, on YouTube? Because I do a lot of wash and go review, you know, when I review products or whatever. So I've been known for doing, they call them tutorials. I'm like, I never thought of them as tutorials, but yeah, they've helped a lot of people with their wash and go. I love that cuts on the weathering makes great sense. Yes, some people choose to cut based on the season, based on the seasons, if I'm getting that right, Lynn. I hear you, thanks again. Do you still like the Brilliant line? Your video said had the ingredient ammonium lauryl sulfate. Yeah, you see how I shared with you the shampoo works well, and the I think it was like a disclaimer that Aveda had put out there. So I shared all of that with you. I said, what if you are using a product, it works well for you, and you turn around, you look at the ingredients, and you see something in here, you're like, oh, it has this, but was your hair falling out because you were using it? Hi, I'm from Kazakhstan, as now you have the time. I don't know what to do with that. I probably should have done blocking. Oh goodness, oh goodness. Yeah, so when we look at, you know, tips that we get online, they're meant to help us as guides, right? So if you're using a product, I know, but I missed my opportunity because I'm like, what? And then it was gone. I couldn't look. If you're using a product and you're not experiencing any adverse effects, then should you stop using it? It really depends on you. I, in my own experience, had that happen with the Brilliant line as I was preparing my shampoo and conditioner video. I was like, I turned it around, I was like, oh gosh, I had no idea, but my hair was fine, so I wasn't concerned. If I was experiencing, periods of dry hair, I was like, okay, I can't go from week to week, my hair is so dry. And then I discover I got some ingredients in a product. I'm like, maybe if I stop using this, then I wouldn't experience the dryness. So I would stop it, and then that would isolate what potentially was causing it. And then if I notice a reversal, then I'd say, okay, that was definitively, the cause of my dryness. So I didn't have dry hair, so I didn't even have to go to that step. But that's what I would do. I would isolate, what you think may be causing the problem, remove it from your regimen, and if you see a difference, then you can say definitively that that was what the cause was, and that's how you can identify, your problem, your source of the problem. And you can do that with anything. And that's why I always tell people, if you're trying, products, week to week, you're going from one product to the next, you don't know what's really causing your hair dryness because you're not giving yourself enough time to get accustomed to anything. I had a shampoo with the right ingredients and it made my hair feel awful. What are the right ingredients? Like, I don't look at ingredients like if you have mango and avocado and all that kind of stuff, now it's supposed to be good for me just because it's natural. I want something that's effective. I heard that Wen line causes baldness. Have you seen or heard if it's true? I'm actually not a fan of Wen, and I use Diva Curl and love it, but so many have been talking about Wonder Curl, so going to try it. Diva Curl is known for the curly girl method, and Wonder Curl is a system of like stylers, and also has a detoxifying clay cleanser and a restoring hair treatment that you use as a deep conditioner. So definitely give it a try. Yes, trim on a schedule keeps the ends. Are those finger coils? No, these are flexi-dry coils. And I love them. I did these a week ago. And I'm going to be washing my hair tonight or tomorrow. So thank you. Thank you. So yeah, definitely whoever the lady was talking about Diva Curl. I've never used Diva Curl. Actually, I'm going to look more into it. But definitely give Wonder Curl a try. That's what I use on my hair all the time. What is dusting the other pets? The other people mention, and they are the bomb. Yes. So dusting, yeah, no problem. I know typos happen. With dusting, you're just, snipping hairs off as you see fit. Wen just had a class action suit. Oh my goodness. No, I didn't know about the class action suit. I just heard that some people were complaining. Those rods have tiny looking, they look tiny. Well, these have been separated. You can look, for those of you who may not be following me already, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see Instagram or Facebook, you will actually see the pictures that I posted of the rods that I had in, and when I took them down, how big the curl was, and then what I did is I separated them. I did not know, Yolanda, that there was a lawsuit. One of my clients in the salon told me that people were complaining that Wen was causing their hair to either be dry or something was the complaint. I think it was black women. And so I'll tell you my one experience with Wen. And before that, I wasn't even in favor, and then after I was even less in favor of it. Okay. I have been definitively applying baldness. Okay. I have definitively been applying Wonder Curl, Butter Than Love pudding on every texture indiscriminately because I want to be able to say to you all definitively, listen, as long as your moisturizer is well formulated, it doesn't matter what your texture is. So I had one client, only one, that I could not use the Butter Than Love pudding on as a moisturizer. Her hair just was not responding to it. And you all know, I've told you how you know your hair is moisturized when you're applying your moisturizer. When you are applying your moisturizer, you should start to see some type of definition that mirrors what you got when you were in the shower and you were washing and conditioning your hair. If you had curls popping and they looked a certain way, when your hair is wet and you put your moisturizer in, that's the effect that you should see let you know you have effectively moisturized your hair. Your hair is effectively moisturized with your product on it. So you're going to have good moisture retention and you're going to have good definition because you've already got the definition. When I put that on her hair did not respond. I wasn't getting any definition at all. And I knew her hair was not low porosity. So I thought about it a couple of days later. This is a client that I applied, a color rinse, just a rinse. And she came in with her Win treatment that she uses whenever she does a rinse. And I wanted to honor, if this is something she's been using, she's comfortable with it. I'm not going to force her to use my products because she's happy with it. I want her to leave happy. No, not doing that again. Because I used her Win treatment thing to follow her color application, which was just a rinse. And I couldn't put my moisturizer on her hair. Why? Because it was blocking, her hair from receiving the moisture. So I could see why she would now have dry hair if she's using Win products that do not effectively remove the buildup. And that's what happens if you use a co-washing, product, or what is it called, a conditioner to cleanse your hair, and you're not removing any buildup. You just have everything sitting on there. Aren't those tons of silicones? The Win? I'm not really versed on what Win contains, but I do know what she brought to me was not a cleanser, and that Win reports to have no sulfates. They showed examples of people having baldness issues on the news regarding Win. So Amber, you're saying that Win is known for containing silicones? Because that's not something that I'm familiar with. They say he has something in the product that he's not telling anyone. He probably does. Probably does have something to hide. And yes, they have silicone. See, that's the oxymoron. If you have silicones, you need sulfates. Yes, my reason for staying away from you type fast, because by the time I realized it, you had your correction up there already. Yeah, that's ridiculous. If you are using silicones, the whole idea is you're supposed to follow it with sulfate. So why would you use a silicone and not have a sulfate, and you want to be known as the no sulfate, shampoo? That's ridiculous. He created that whole problem. That's a cycle of just dryness. You're not getting any moisture in at all if you have something with silicones and you're not using sulfates. Can clay remove silicones? It should, because a clay, it is a shame, and I'm sure he got a lot of money too. A clay cleanser is supposed to really suck up all of the toxins from your hair. It's supposed to be like a deep cleansing. So you should be able to remove silicones effectively if you're using a clay. And that's provided that your clay is working effectively too. Sulfates are so drying for my hair. Alexia, I wondered if it really depends on the shampoo that you're using. What is your nighttime regimen to keep your flexi rod curls for a week? I pineapple my hair. I literally do it the same way, whether I have a twist out, a wash and go, or these flexi rods. So again, if you follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, or my Twitter, my Instagram is embrace_natural_beauty. My Facebook is Embrace Natural Beauty. And my Twitter is Embrace N Beauty. So any one of those, take a look at the pictures that I posted last week when I did my flexi rod set. And you'll see I have my hair in a pineapple, just hanging on out. And that's how I preserve it every single night. I need to learn how to style my hair. Girl, there are so many tutorials. That's what I'm totally cool with the tutorials that they share on how to style the hair. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful option. They said on the news the product caused the hair follicles to be blocked, causing hair loss. What's happening is if you're not cleaning your scalp, you are going to be blocking your follicles. But if the product was that detrimental, then it really backed up their hair, because your hair tends to still grow, but it'll grow weaker. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, see all what happened. it probably created some scalp conditioning. If hair is dry and not able to moisture, you have buildup. Well, you have buildup, yes, on the hair, but she's saying that the article mentioned something about the hair follicles not being able to get the hair to come out. That's something that's creating like a whole scalp issue. That's beyond dryness. And you know, you need to clean your scalp. You have, even if you don't do anything, you're going to have salt that's going to build up on your scalp. You're going to have sweat that's going to build up on your scalp. As well as the ingredient they would not disclose. Yeah, they're probably working on like court order confidentiality or something like that. Was this on the regular news or was it CNN? Can you do a quick length check on this? I don't think it's effective to do a length check on something like this. During the winter, how often should you wash your hair? I heard it should be every 2 weeks in every news channel. Oh my goodness. Do you use a diffuser with your washing those? I may in the wintertime if I have to go somewhere. Now, as far as like how often you should wash your hair, again, it gets back to your lifestyle. If you are running, if you are jogging, doing anything where you're doing a lot of sweating in your hair, you're going to want to wash your hair more than the average person who's more sedentary, who's not getting a lot of sweat in their hair. So you really have to base it on your lifestyle. You'd want to choose something, obviously, that's not too harsh if you're doing it very often, but you definitely want to wash your hair more than someone like us. So you can't base it on generalities. You have to base it on your lifestyle. And you have to ask that question again. If I'm answering the question, I'm trying to stay on point. I'm trying to be good here, so I want to be able to answer people's questions completely. So ask that again. I'm so sorry to hear about that wind product. I don't like gimmicks. It's very simple. Taking care of natural hair is very, very simple. Thank you. Thank you. I walk daily 5 miles. Then that's not extreme, you know, like sweating type of activity. You could probably get away with once a week. And, you know, that's another thing that people talk about, you know, when it gets colder, you want to wash your hair less. Unless you're out in the Adirondacks or you're outdoors, you can still wash your hair. I mean, you have warmth, you have heat in your home. It's not like you're standing under an icicle. You just want to be cautious with going out into the cold, but I wouldn't forego washing like in an extra week just because it's cold outside, you know. You don't stop washing your body just because it's cold outside because it's wintertime, and your hair is just an extension of your skin, so you need to clean it regularly. Aveda had great detox for scalp. Do you use on your clients? I don't use the Aveda detox. I use, don't know if I missed your answer about the diffuser, but can it cause heat damage? No, the diffuser doesn't necessarily cause heat damage. It's if you're applying heat directly into your hair. Diffused heat is not going to be damaging, but there are things that people can do that can cause it to be damaging, but in general, no, it won't. So no, I don't use the Aveda detox. I'll look into it as a consideration, but I currently do not. I know. That's another thing about being natural is people are afraid. There's so much fear associated with natural. And it doesn't have to be that way. Sure, you want to use caution, but we don't have to be walking in fear just because we have natural hair. Thank you for all your great advice. I'm going to order Wonder Curl pudding tomorrow. Cool. And I'm afraid of heat too, and we need to get rid of our hair misconceptions. Yes, we do. And I finally have movement after stretching hair, not over separating less protein gel. Okay, great. And you too, Kizzy? Great. All sounds like all good things. I love you guys. I'm glad this is working out for you. I'm glad we were able to have this discussion. I want, you guys know that I'm here every week, so there are people who think that you shouldn't put a comb through your hair. This is what I love about this forum. Every week, guys, I'm here. I'm here, Sunday, 8 o'clock, every week, and I want you guys to ask questions about anything that's flying out there. Like someone asked me about a beer rinse. I'm not rinsing my hair with beer, and I'm not rinsing my hair with tea. I rinse my hair with water after I've washed it. And yeah, okay, so getting back to the comb, and Amber just said I'm all about that comb life. Okay, when it comes to the comb, I'm not going to comb my hair when it's dry, okay? But when I wash my hair and when I condition my hair, when I have the conditioner on my hair, that's when I do a little bit of finger detangling. I don't detangle my entire hair, but I remove, you know, like the bulk of some tangles that I'm not going to want to bring my comb through. And then after that, I use a wide tooth comb. And then after I wide tooth comb, I move to a fine tooth comb. The only comb one time that after I wash to rest, and then I use my fingers. I like to use all three methods. The fingers first, just to remove those tangles that you don't want your comb trying to get through. You need to be able to feel them. And I'm going to try and show you guys more distinctly what I'm talking about. But I start with that first, and then I should be able to get my comb through fairly easily, a wide tooth, but a wide tooth comb is not going to remove any tangles. So if you still have tangles in your hair and you don't proceed to remove them with like a fine tooth comb, you are going to have, you know, more hairs getting caught and more single strand knots and more fairy knots, and then more of those tangles are going to lead to breakage. That's what I do. Then I do my twist, but got folks yelling at me for that. Yelling at you for what? For using a comb or using a Denman brush? Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And whoever is yelling at you guys for certain things, always evaluate the condition of their hair as well. Do you ever flat iron your hair? Last year November, for combing your hair or for using a comb. Again, I use my fingers, wide tooth comb, and fine tooth, and that's fine. Now, flat ironing my hair, the last time I flat ironed my hair, and I don't do it myself, when I go get my hair trimmed, the stylist does that, was November of last year. And this is December of 2015. So November of 2014 was the last time I flat ironed my hair, and it was only twice in the year 2014. After washing goes, I'm having so much shrinkage that it's more of a curly afro. Are you using like a strong holding gel? Because a strong holding gel will give you more elongation. And how can I loosen them a bit? Was that the same person? I'm not sure. If you have a soft holding gel, you're using an Echo Styler, then that's going to give you a good elongation. So then the other thing you want to look at is your the size of your sections that you're working with. The smaller the sections that you work with, the better definition you get, so you should be able to get more longer curls. I found that doing stretched out, braid outs, and twist outs, no single strand knots issues. You have to find what works for you. Some people, you know, find that they get more knots, like me, when I do other styles. I get less knots when I do my wash and go. So if you've identified that the twist outs and stretch styles give you less knots, then that's the way to go for you. That's absolutely the best. Do you consider twist outs a high manipulation? Amber, only when people are twisting every night to keep the definition in their twists. That's when it becomes over manipulation. When I do my twist outs, either on myself or my clients, they can go, you know, anywhere from 5 weeks to 7 days. I don't always follow up with them, but they last without having to retwist. When I do mine, everything I do, I go from week to week, so I don't redo anything. And that's what keeps it from being high manipulation. I'm going natural. Would it be faster to make my hair grow if I do the big chop now or wait until later? I do it once a week for about 3 weeks. Well, that's cool. That's fine, Amber. Cutting your hair via big chop. What that will do for you is give you an opportunity to learn your hair from the early stages without having two different textures. That's pretty much the majority of the benefit. Granted, if you do have the two textures, you can experience a lot of breakage, and you will, with the relaxed ends because they will be weaker. So it's not that your hair will grow faster if you do the big chop. you just will not have that stage of all that breakage related to having that, that two textures working and fighting against each other as it grows. So it's really up to you. I would never force anything on anyone. I would only make recommendations based on your lifestyle. Some people are very uncomfortable with, going to a really low cut. I personally, I did the big chop. I had like very short hair, and I have pictures of that on my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Twitter. I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't get to see that. I was finishing my thought. Yeah, but I, if you can do it, if you are comfortable with it, I highly recommend the big chop because you really get to know your hair. My daughters are transitioning. Okay. And I transitioned and wish I did the big chop. It's an experience. It really is an experience. But, personally, I had cut my hair a couple times really low like that before. So, but this was the only time I did it because I was going to stay natural. But before, I was just like, I'm gonna cut my hair up and grow it and do other kinds of things, whatever. I have been natural for 4 years, but I'm stuck at mid-length, just past my ears. How do I get it to grow? That's a good question, because everyone has a terminal length, and it's determined by, your genetics. So some people, well, for the most part, hair generally grows between 5 to 7 years, the growth phase. And depending on, where you are in your genetics, your hair may only grow to your shoulders or may only grow mid-back. Like you have some people, their hair seems to grow. Every time you turn around, their hair is longer and longer and longer. Their growth rate is so much more accelerated. They will reach, the waist easily within 5 years, some of us. So, it really has a lot to do with your genetics. So if you're doing low manipulation, if you're not experiencing a lot of breakage, and you just notice that your length kind of stops at the same place, then that most likely is your terminal, end of your hair. And that's nothing bad, but if you are experiencing breakage, then the length could be longer if you were to retain more length. So I hope that helps you understand, but not everyone's hair grows all the way down to tailbone. Not everyone. And you can usually tell too by how fast the hair grows. Hair that tends to get very long usually grows at a faster rate because it's within a certain window as well. Okay. This happens. It's after 9 o'clock. I didn't realize it because when I'm talking to you guys, I just don't realize the time, and it's an absolute wonderful time. But I'm going to be cutting off soon if we don't have any more questions. Breakage, but not gotten to where I've stopped playing with my hair. You have hand and hair syndrome. And since I've been doing Periscope, I have adopted the hand and hair syndrome. Prior to Periscope, I wouldn't touch my hair, I didn't care. But when I'm talking with you guys, something about my hands always go into my hair. It's something about I'm looking at my hair as I'm talking to you guys, and I go, ooh, it's a mess. You're doing better? I hope so. Anything that you could do to minimize manipulation to your hair will help to, you noticed? It's true. Anything you can do to help minimize, manipulation to your hair will help to, keep down or not to accelerate the wearing down. It's just like a fiber. If you have like your favorite pair of shoes, your favorite jeans, if you wear them all the time, you wear them out. So the more you wear something, you wear it down, you accelerate it. Take care of it, you're gentle with it, it stays with you a little bit longer. So we didn't just now twisting and putting in a wig or something low maintenance. Okay, that's fine. I'm one who is in favor of wigs. You just love those curls. Yes, friend, I am loving these curls. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another flexi rod this week, but I love them. I'm feeling very accustomed to them. I keep pulling my hair to stretch because I'm shrinking. That's not going to keep your hair stretched, so stop. Don't do that. Don't put that much stress on your hair. Leave it be. Do a nice gentle, stretch with the twists or braids overnight, just once, just to get a little bit of stretch. I wouldn't want to do it too often because then you're getting into the phase of too much manipulation. So like if you were to do a couple big dookie braids before you go to bed, that'll give you a stretch too. That should give you some help. I'm sorry. I know someone asked me a question and I went off. I did that again. Bad me. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up because it is well after 9. And, I want to be considerate of people who have time, things to do to get prepared for work and for school tomorrow. And we're getting ready to come up on the holiday, so I didn't get a chance to. I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas to you and your families. Those of you who will be traveling, I'd like to wish you safe travel mercies. I pray that you get to your destination safely and that you have a wonderful time. And just remember, there's a reason why we celebrate Christmas, and it's the birth of our Savior, and He is the true gift. You've been so helpful. Thank you. Have a good night and a happy and a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, and the same to each and every one of you. Thank you. Yes, you too, Yolanda. Merry Christmas. Thank you all so very much. I hope you all get and give, with love and enjoy. Have a great time. And so anyone who, like I said before, has not been following me before, you can find me on Facebook at Embrace Natural Beauty. You can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Embrace Natural Beauty. You can find me. Thanks again. We'll tag you. Thank you. Yes, if you're using Wonder Curl products based on my recommendation, please tag me in your photos so I can see your results because I want to see you guys. So you can find me on Instagram at embrace_natural_beauty. I feel like I am stalking you. Hey, we're in this together. So stalk all that you want. That's why I post pictures, because I want us to all be a community so we can share and grow and learn together. So enjoy. I go to YouTube when I miss the scope. That's why I put them up there, because I know not everyone can sit here and dialogue and all that good stuff. No worries. Enjoy. I hope it's helpful to you. Thanks for the encouragement, etc. Really appreciate it any and every time. Battery died, but wanted to come back and say thanks. You're a trooper. Hanging in there. Thank you so much for coming back to say thank you. And so again, for those of you who are just tuning in and who tuned in later, you can find me on YouTube at Embrace Natural Beauty. You can find me on Instagram at Embrace_natural_beauty. You can find me on Twitter or Periscope at Embrace, capital letter N for Natural Beauty. And you can find me, I am a natural hairstylist. You can book a service with me if you're in the New York City area on styleseat.com/Abena Palmore. And there is where you would book your appointment with me for your natural hair service. I am in the salon. That is Gifted Hair Clinic at 3511-1 Boston Road. I'm in the salon Tuesdays through Saturdays by appointment only. I do not accept walk-ins. So make your appointment with me via styleseat.com/Abena Palmore. So you have all of my ways of contacting me. I hope to be connected with you in some way, shape, or form. And until then, may you continue to maintain your hair, keep it in good condition, so that you retain length and enjoy your hair, so that you may embrace natural beauty of your own. That's what I'm all about, ladies. So you're very welcome, Fran. Thank you all for tuning in and making this a wonderful evening as always. And I look forward to the next time. I will go east next year. Cool, you're going to check me out. That would be great. I would love to meet you and work with you. Have a good night. Thank you for answering questions. You're very, very welcome. For you who have just joined, you're going to have to watch the replay. We've been on for over an hour. And I invite you to watch it either here on Periscope, but I will also upload this on my YouTube channel, Embrace Natural Beauty. So thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. And I'll see you at the same time, 8 o'clock on Sunday of next week. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you for the hearts. Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. Night, night.